Great. Welcome to our podcast. Today we'll shit. Welcome to our podcast. Today we're going to discuss the topic of transgender people in sports. Have fun, and let's get right into it.
Yeah, so it's important to establish a historical context for this. So what really brought on the gay movement, which the trans movement stems out of, is the Stonewall riots, right, Chase?
Yeah, so June 28th, 1969, Stonewall Inn was raided by police with no warning. They had a warrant, obviously, but they went in, roughed up patrons, and arrested people for bootleg alcohol and other violations, including criminal mischief and disorderly conduct. And this event sparked the formation of scores of gay rights organizations, including the Human Rights Campaign. And it says that instead of responding to the routine compliance that NYPD expected, patrons and a growing crowd decided to fight back. 5 days of rioting that ensued changed forever the face of gay and lesbian life, which then sparked the trans movement, obviously.
And so then Leah Thomas comes along, and she's by far probably the most popular trans athlete. And so Leah, originally born a male, decides to transition into a female. And so a 290th in that range ranked swimmer goes to the female. And how did she do?
Number one.
Oh yeah, she broke a couple world records by a pretty substantial margin, you know.
Female world records, right?
Yeah, female world records.
Also, I wouldn't say popular. I would say most hated, but in like the female swimming community.
Miss.
And that is true, though. That is true because it does say that their teammates, how they wrote to the NCAA about how they didn't feel comfortable dressing in the locker rooms with her, and they didn't like having to undress and then go back in their uniforms with a man, a by birth male, right? And I think a lot of people have hate towards her because of the fact that they just didn't feel comfortable with that. I mean, some people do, but that's just like a normal reaction to have. It's not a normal thing.
It is a normal reaction to a problem that will be normal in the future, we'll see. The only thing is that the question is how we address those problems. I don't think that hate is the right way. We should maybe consider finding a durable solution for that. I think we all agree that this is not necessarily letting transgender people or trans women participate in male sports. What do you think?
They are actually there's like a new rule being enforced that trans athletes, particularly transitioning from male to female, have to undergo hormone suppression therapy. So there's like a testosterone limit, and that I don't think that rule was in effect when Leah Thomas was swimming, because so I just want to like demonstrate how unfair it would be. So normally in swimming, it's like super tight competition, right? Normally whoever wins only wins by like less than a second, right? And the runner-up is again less than a second behind. But this time when Leah Thomas raced, she beat the runner-up by over 2 seconds, which is like huge for swimming. So it's kind of just unfair.
And yeah, we've seen people fight against this, like Riley Gaines. And so the biggest question is, how do we resolve this? Because what's going on now is not working.
Yeah.
So what are some of your guys' ideas?
Whole different category. You got women, trans people, and men.
100%.
It's a solid idea.
Yeah, that's
Great.
solid. I feel like we haven't seen enough of the effect of the hormonal suppression thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if that works well, then it would be a solid
I
plan
also
to just
feel
keep
that,
all of that.
You know, it's with the whole, I feel like a lot of people get upset about the whole like women, trans, men type ordeal, because if you also think about it, it's still in the trans category for sports, if that were to become a thing, which we haven't seen enough of trans athletes to even make that a category yet, 'cause that's a
right.
whole
That's
other
true.
step. But I feel like people would still get upset about that, because even if a by birth woman became a man and went to like all this like hormone reassessment therapy and all this stuff, there's still a man is still gonna have an advantage over that, just because you can't like take away the fact that you're born with like more strength without like say a guy and a girl would not work out at all, right?
Yeah.
Or they work out the same amount. The guy would just automatically have more strength because that's just how they're made, right? So
It's
even
about
in the trans
performance,
category, I mean, it's still gonna be the same way.
And so my idea
Probably.
actually is to assign people to the sport, like male or female, not based on what gender they claim to be, but based on sex assigned at birth. And because that's going to fix it. You aren't necessarily saying that the trans person isn't their gender at birth, which would make them happy, but at the same time you're keeping it fair for all members.
Right.
Yeah.
Let us maybe speak about the role of a transgender person in society. In general, those people want to be accepted as the gender they transform to. So it is a fact that those people sometimes have problems with not being accepted or as the gender that they want to be, and that leads to the problem of serious mental health issues actually for people that would really want to be accepted, which is also part of participating in each gender's sports. But to keep it fair, you need to have a compromise, and the compromise of sex at birth is probably still kind of a problem for some transgender people because they want to be accepted as the gender and they would not participate. In this case, I personally don't see another way which would make it more fair to those people that actually keep their gender, their sex, and want to participate in regular sports.
Yeah.
So what do we think the impact on the world is and like on the history of human culture?
I mean, you could go really deep into that. There's a lot of different controversial topics that are basically just based off of trans, gay, lesbians, whatever, right? And it's a lot of people get upset over the fact of a lot of people think, not me, but a lot of people think that, I just want to, disclaimer. But a lot of people say that like the gay community, trans community, they push their ideas on other people, but only because they want to be accepted. Because people are upset, they're mad that people are saying, hey, I'm a guy by birth, I want to become a female, or I'm a female, I want to be a guy. Or I like the same sex gender, right? And people get upset about that, but it really doesn't it shouldn't bother them unless this person, coming at them saying, hey, you should believe in what I believe, right? But they're not really doing that. They're only protesting because people don't agree with them, right? They're saying, I just want to be accepted as this, and some people can't handle that. And I just feel like that's a big, problem, that people can't just, let others do what they want to do. It honestly doesn't matter. It's the same thing with, racism back in the day.
You're absolutely right.
It's the same thing. People cared because they were a different color, but no one cares anymore. Why can't it just be the same
No
thing?
one should care.
Yeah,
Everybody should tolerate it at least. If you like it or not, no one cares.
exactly.
But just tolerate it. Let everybody live.
Exactly.
It's freedom.
You don't have to bother people about their beliefs. Just worry about yourself.
Exactly. Like this kid
Be
Zach.
yourself,
I tolerate this
right?
kid every day.
Yeah, I tolerate.
We are able to tolerate him every day.
I mean, even though he's short,
Just imagine.
even though Mitch is,
Which is bad.
Look at Mitch.
we tolerate him.
We tolerate him.
Bro,
We
I
tolerate each
we
other.
tolerate Zach though, surprisingly. It's we miss him when he has to go to the North Pole in the winter.
We do miss him every year.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he doesn't have to
he
help
comes
us
back.
Body shaming is
Come
fine
on.
until it's all about weight, huh?
Yeah.
In the end,
It's different.
we all accept ourselves, we tolerate ourselves, we tolerate our viewpoints, and this is how society works. Everybody's different, everybody's unique, and we should preserve that. That's
Pardon the
important.
interruption. Sophomores, last name A through K, are heading back to
Thank you.
class at this time.
Awesome.
Zach,
The
you're sophomore.
sophomores
Go ahead.
that were at the auditorium are heading back to class.
I believe he's a freshman.
Okay, and so final thing, how would you rate this on a star? So 1 to 5.
Trans people in sports, I'm gonna have to go with a solid 2 out of 5 stars.
I'm gonna have to agree with that honestly.
And I agree.
Just because of the fact that it's it's not that I have anything against them being in sports. Like, yeah, I could honestly care less until it comes down to a sport that I actually care about, right? But like the whole swimming thing, like, it's just not fair to the other competitors. So I give 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I would give it like probably also a 2 out of 5 because it's not like a huge deal right now because we're just seeing the beginning of it, and I feel like as like the problems with discrimination and stuff as it advances throughout the years, there's going to be more solutions. So I feel like later on when it's more settled, my rating will probably go up because it's not that big of a deal anymore.
I think collectively we're going to work towards a 5 out of 5, hopefully. Right now,
And,
I would agree. It's like a 2 to 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd say 2 out of 5 is probably
I would also give it a 2 out of 5 personally.
because it is creating a whole lot of problems and
Yes.
there's not a whole lot of great
Solutions
solutions
right now.
out there.
And I would say that this is either going to get a lot better in terms of
Or a lot
solutions
worse.
or a lot worse.
Yeah.
Because in gymnastics, women are usually superior. They're far more flexible.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be
Imagine how good Chase would
interesting.
be like say Chase when transgender and play golf, like
Or
I feel like golf isn't really something.
Chase-
you don't think so?
It is.
It's pretty it's
It depends.
like-
this is an argument for a different time.
Different argument.
Or
Yeah,
if
different.
Chase plays tennis and someone newly transitioned named Belinda cooks him, it would
I'm gonna
be
get pretty upset.
He
I'm gonna
would
be
be
upset
upset.
by getting cooked.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, and there's also like it depends with a lot of sports because I feel like I don't play tennis, so I don't know, but I feel like men's tennis and women's tennis, I feel like it's not like a huge difference compared to like men's gymnastics and women's gymnastics, right? And men's swimming and women's swimming. Right?
Yeah.
In the end, we'll all follow the development, I think.
Yep.
We're all very excited for what's to come, and I hope not only we, but you will stay tuned. Thank you for listening.
Through
Blue.
Peace.
All right.